Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of TSO Trivia. My name is Ben Nisbet. Joining me today as our contestants for this trivia game, our principal tuba, Dave Morgan. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Our second flute, Zach Warren. Hello,
Hello.
Zach. And from
Hi.
our second violin section, Emily Chow. It's so nice to see all of you. Thank you so much for doing this with us today. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're hopefully going to also learn a little bit about music history and a little bit about the history of the Tucson Symphony Orchestra as well. I'm going to briefly explain the rules for you guys and for our audiences at home. It's real simple. We're playing on a platform called Kahoot, where we will answer multiple choice questions about classical music and about the history of the Tucson Symphony. And it doesn't just matter if you get the answer correct. It's also important how quickly you get the answer, and that will be reflected in your score, which we will see updated after every question. So, are you guys ready to play TSO Trivia?
Woohoo!
Okay,
Ready.
so Greg Campbell, who is sort of the Rod Roddy of the TSO Trivia, has put together a wonderful list of questions for us to answer today. He is also going to queue up the game for us right now. Okay, and we are going to get started right off the top. Which composer had a works premiere greeted with a now famous riot? Was it Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Igor Stravinsky, Henry Purcell, or Johannes Brahms? Everybody was very quick on that one. They know that it was the 1913 premiere at the Theater of the Champs-Élysées by Sergei Diaghilev's Ballet Russe of Igor Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. Let's see who answered the quickest. Looks like it was Emily Chow with the fast fingers. She is a violin player after all, Emily. Have you done any recent performances of the Rite of Spring?
Um, I think my first year with the TSO, we did Rite of Spring, and it was really fun.
It's definitely one of those pieces of music you always remember when you did it because it's such a unique experience. Let's move on to the next question. Which of these is not a real musical instrument? A cimbasso, a sackbut, a diplodocus, or a double contrabass flute? Everybody got the answer correct. Probably have some dinosaur experts in here. A diplodocus is indeed a dinosaur and not a musical instrument. But Dave, what is a cimbasso?
Oh, a chimbasso is it's kind of like it's like a Frankenstein between a bass trombone and a tuba. They use it a lot in operas, like Italian operas.
And Zach, any encounters with a double contrabass flute on your end?
No. I know that they exist, and I have once played a contrabass flute, but I have never seen, heard, or played a double contrabass flute.
I would imagine, and Zach is a fairly tall guy, that a double contrabass flute is probably about as big as you are, is it?
Oh yeah, it's bigger because it curves multiple times.
Excellent. Let's move on to the next question. Who was the guest conductor at the Tucson Music Hall's 1971 gala opening? Claudio Abbado, Arthur Fiedler, Eric Kunzel, or Sir Colin Davis? Looks like everybody got the answer correct. Arthur Fiedler, who was the director of the Boston Pops from 1930 until his death in 1979. So he almost made it 50 years. Let's check the scoreboard. Dave has apparently also developed some pretty fast fingers. He's in the lead with 2,804 points, just ahead of Emily and Zach, who's bringing up the back end, unfortunately.
It's still a close game, though. Hey.
It's a very close game, but according to this, Zach has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row, but newsflash, so does everybody else. So don't know why Zach was singled out for that, but we're going to move on to the next question.
It knows something that we don't.
Which composer was also considered an expert on mushrooms? Was it Giacomo Puccini, Edward Elgar, John Cage, or Aaron Copland? And let's see who gets it correct. Everybody knew that it was John Cage. Emily, be honest. Did you really know that, or were you guessing?
I was definitely guessing.
Well, it was a very good guess. John Cage apparently lived on a rural New York commune in 1954 where he learned a lot about mushrooms, and he parlayed this information into an appearance on an Italian game show a few years later where he won 5 million lira, which I don't know if that's like 10 bucks or what, having answered all the questions about mushrooms correctly. So there you go.
Impressive.
Still in the lead is Dave. Emily, now she's getting recognition for her 4-answer streak. So good for you.
Nice.
And only 10 points ahead of Zach. So it's still close, as Zach noted. Let's move on to the next question. Which of these TV hosts plays the viola? Is it Jon Stewart, John Oliver, Samantha Bee, or Stephen Colbert? And let's see how we do. We have our first incorrect answer. We also don't have any correct answers. The answer is John Oliver, the host of HBO's Last Week Tonight. Also worth noting that the recently crowned Emperor of Japan, Emperor Naruhito, plays the viola, and apparently quite well. Let's see how we're doing on scores. No change, since nobody got the answer correct on that one. Let's move on to the next question.
It's good that we don't lose points. I was afraid of that.
Composer Philip Glass also worked at which of these occupations? Taxi driver, lion tamer, otolaryngologist, or insurance salesman? Looks like we have 2 correct answers. Taxi driver is right. Insurance salesman, I believe that made an appearance on last week's quiz in reference to Charles Ives. But in this case, we have taxi driver. Anybody here on this panel recently watched the film Taxi Driver?
No.
I can't recommend it enough. It holds up very well. A little bit scary and disturbing, but still an excellent movie. As a result of that last round, Dave has extended his lead. He's at 4,400 points. Emily still in second place with 4,238, and Zach still in last place with 3,432. I feel a comeback coming from you, Zach.
Fingers crossed.
Which musician frequently supplemented his income with winnings from post-rehearsal card games? Was it Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Glenn Gould, Joseph Joachim, or Richard Strauss? Oh, no correct answers here. The answer is Richard Strauss. He was apparently a big fan of the national card game of Germany, also known as Skat, S-K-A-T, and he would play it backstage with musicians, and he was so good that he would frequently take all of their money. In fact, at Bayreuth, Cosima Wagner would reimburse the musicians for their losses just to keep everybody happy backstage. Anybody a fan of backstage card games or backstage game playing in general to kind of loosen up, or are we just focused on getting ready for the show?
Back, I'm into it.
Favorite game, Dave? If we could play cards backstage?
Poker.
Poker?
Yeah.
Texas Hold'em?
Yeah.
Emily, what do you think?
I don't know. I think I just want to stay in the zone.
You just want to stay in the zone and keep your money, apparently, too.
Yeah.
All right. Dave's still in the lead. Let's move on. Question 8. For which of these films has the TSO performed the entire score live? Is it The Wizard of Oz, The Return of the Jedi, Barry Lyndon, or Independence Day?
Oh, no. Man.
The correct answer is The Wizard of Oz. We have not yet performed the live score for The Return of the Jedi, but we will someday soon. Anybody here involved in that performance of the score to The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
I was too. Has anybody else ever played that score live? It's very, very difficult music. It's definitely one that we should bring back because it's quite fun, but it is very challenging, as most of those live score performances are. All right, Zach made a little headway by getting the answer correct. He's only a scant 2 points behind Emily for second place. See, I knew that comeback was coming. All right, let's move on. We just have a couple left. Question number 9. Which northern Italian city is known as the home of the great violin makers? Is it Asti, Trieste, Padua, or Cremona? I have a feeling that I know who got one of the 2 correct answers here. The answer is Cremona. Emily, please tell me that you were one of them.
Yes.
Have you ever had the opportunity to play one of the great masters like a Stradivarius or a Guarneri or an Amati?
Oh, never, but I look forward to the day when I can.
Is there a sense that maybe though, when you actually hold a violin like that, that you're thinking less about playing it and more about accidentally dropping it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, for sure.
All right, let's move on to our last question. Oh, but we've had a lead change. Emily now on top with 5187. Zach In second place with 5062, Dave, a little bit of a cold streak, Dave. Last place with 4,400. How the fortunes have changed. So it's very possible that if both Zach and Emily know the answer to the last question, that whoever answers it more quickly is going to be our winner here. Let's see what the question is. Which guest soloist has appeared most frequently with the TSO? Is it Doc Severinsen, Emmanuel Axe, Christopher Parkening, or Itzhak Perlman? And let's see how we did. Well, everybody answered one. One person got it correct. It was Emmanuel Axe. Emmanuel Axe has played with the TSO 6 times. Doc Severinsen and Christopher Parkening tied for second with 4 times, and the great violinist Itzhak Perlman has played with the TSO 2 times. So let's see who got that answer correct. Third place, so we know it wasn't Dave because he already had 4,400. Second place is Emily. Oh, and our winner, as I predicted, when he was struggling, the comeback did come to be. Zach, our wonderful second flute, wins 58-58. Got 7 out of 10 correct. You did a great job, Zach. Congratulations. How do you feel right now?
It was just a stroke of luck. I actually had no idea because I haven't been playing with the symphony for very long. So that was not based on knowledge. It was simply a guess.
Well, you will now be known, at least until next week, as the official champion of TSO Trivia. Congratulations. Any messages for the audience out there while we are so badly missing performing for our wonderful Tucson Symphony patrons?
Only just that I hope you're all doing really well, that you're staying healthy. I hope you're enjoying some music, listening to music, some of the stuff that we've been fortunate enough to be able to make and to play for you during this time. So thanks for sticking with us.
Emily, any messages for the wonderful folks out there in Tucson and all over the country who've been following us on our digital stage?
Just that I miss playing with my colleagues and I miss playing in the hall, and I hope that we can get back to doing some more live music soon. And so everybody should take care of themselves and take care of each other.
That's a wonderful sentiment. Dave, I think you should tell the audience now how you jinxed yourself for this trivia game.
Yes. Well, first I want to reiterate what they said because that was very important. But I did not win, but I do have this.
He made himself a crown, folks. That is a surefire way to jinx yourself out of a victory in any game. And there we go. Oh, yes. Perfect. I do actually remember being at I think it was maybe a kids concert where Dave and the brass section did a live rendition of the "You Just Lost" music from The Price is Right. So, and apparently Dave's having some vegetable juice. So on that note, we'd like to thank you all very much for tuning into our TSO Trivia today. We'll be back with another one here in a couple of weeks. Emily, Zach, Dave, it's so nice to see all of you guys. I can't wait until we're all backstage again, hanging out, getting ready to play concerts, and maybe playing a little bit of poker or some scat if we can learn how to play it, which I don't. So anyway, thank you all very much. Stay healthy, stay safe, take care of each other, and we will see you all again very soon.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Bye.